Welcome back to Dark Souls. Last time, we headed through the chasm of the Abyss, and we destroyed Mana's father of the Abyss, the primeval human, the furtive pygmy. He's no more. And with his destruction, the Abyss over Ulasil will not spread to the rest of the world. But at this point, Ulasil's doomed. There's no saving it. They also managed to free Dusk, even though, in my opinion, Manus wasn't trying to kill Dusk at all. He fell in love with her. Anyway, I guess the first thing we should do is go to the Ulasil Sanctuary and tell Elizabeth. Here we are. Hello, Elizabeth. We saved Dusk.
I have awaited thee. Thou hast rescued Princess Dusk, and rid us of that terrible primeval human, even halting the spread of the Abyss. I salute the grandeur of thine enterprise. Please allow me to express my gratitude. I thank thee, as do we all.
And from her, for saving Dusk, we get Elizabeth's mushroom. Let's take a look at what these things are first. Where is it? There it is. A large medicinal mushroom of Elizabeth, keeper of the sanctuary. Eating this mushroom invigorates the flesh, and greatly restores HP for a limited duration. Its dramatic effect can make the difference between a warrior's life and death. These Elizabeth mushrooms are the most powerful healing item in the series. Not in the series. In the Dark Souls series, not Soulsborne in general, but Dark Souls. Right. So what these things do is basically give you 100 HP per second. Per second. You know how much health you have? I have 1,000. In 10 seconds, you can... In about 13 seconds, I can heal my entire health bar. That's really something. That's why you only get 3 of them. But they do last quite a while. Thank you. Let's see if I have everything I want from her. I seem to have everything. I think I'll buy just one of these, just in case. Gold pine resins, do I want these? I think I'll take them. You're not gonna get another chance to buy them anywhere else. Buy them. Now let's talk to her now that we saved Dusk. How about that legend of Artorias, though? We know he's a fraud, through no fault of his own, but still a fraud. How about you tell any humans who survived about our great deeds, Elizabeth?
I will remember thee, but I will keep thy story to myself. This is the best way, for thou art come from a time far ahead. No one will sing thy praises, but yet thy greatness shall live on, for it shall be my purpose to remember all thou hast done for us.
Well, that's a shame. She's not gonna tell the world how a human saved the entire world from being consumed by the Abyss. And this is where the legend of Artorias the Abyss Walker came from. She blamed Artorias for our actions, because no one would be able to understand that someone came from the future to save the past, because time paradoxes are weird. Then again, time is convoluted, so, But she'll remember us. I'll remember you too, Elizabeth.
May the flames guide thee.
Oh no, that's not happening though. Now that Manus is dead, that's definitely not happening. We know what we're doing. We're gonna make sure we do what he didn't. As for us, that's the end of the road for Artorias of the Abyss. Now all that's left to do is to meet Dusk. I wonder if Dusk went back to her summon spot back at Darkroot Basin. We're gonna see. Oh, but before we do that, I would like to head to the Undead Asylum. I'll see you there. Here we are at the Northern Undead Asylum. But I bet you're wondering, what exactly am I doing here? Well, I would like to pay another visit to Snuggly the Crow.
You, give me warm, give me soft.
I'd like to trade one more item with her. I know exactly which one it is already. This one. The Soul of Manus, Father of the Abyss. We're not gonna be using this for anything else. The only thing you can make with it is the Manus Catalyst. It doesn't really have any interesting description either. So, let's just drop it off. And I'll see you when we get our item.
You, give me.
Well, here we are. We got an item back. We get a dark sorcery. Pursuers. Let's head on to a bit more stable ground, and let's read what it says. There it is. Pursuers. Sorcery of Manus, Father of the Abyss. Grant a fleeting will to the dark of humanity, and volley the result. Before we keep going with the description, I'm just gonna say this one thing. What this means is, it's basically a dark sorcery version of Homing Soulmass. It's nuts the damage this thing can do too. Not like, it's not where near Dark Bead, but still something. The will feels envy, or perhaps love, and despite the inevitably trite and tragic ending, the will sees no alternative, and is driven madly towards its target. It gives a will to humanity. Envy towards that, and it pursues. Maybe this is what the humanity phantoms are. Manus gave a will to the dark, and it gave them envy and love. His envy and love, two deadly sins. Not love, but lust. That would reflect Manus's love towards Dusk, regardless of which one you think it is, and maybe envy or desire towards for his broken pendant. It goes. Since Manus knows of no other way in his monstrous form, he just attacked Dusk. He attacked us. He's the one who dragged us into the past. He saw our broken pendant, and he grabbed it. Now, that's all I wanted to see. Now I want to go visit Dusk. I'll see you there. Welcome back to the Darker Basin. Here we are. And there's Dusk's summon sign. Let's go talk to her. Maybe she can tell us about her experiences with Manus. Let's summon her. Hello, Dusk. We haven't seen you in a while. How are you?
I am Dusk of Ulysio. It is an honor to see thee again. I shall follow thine wishes.
Well, that's really nice and all. And Elizabeth's and Dusk's inventory are the exact same. I wonder why. Well, let's talk to her.
My home of Ulysio was reduced to ashes long ago in my time. I have been alone ever since. But to be summoned thus, and to be of service to thee, it is most rewarding. Oh, forgive me. Such a long past time is none of thine concern.
Well, I beg to differ, Dusk. It's very much my concern, because we saw it ourselves. We saw the ruins of Ulysio completely destroyed. So, Dusk, who saved you from the Abyss in the past?
This may strike thine ear as somewhat peculiar, but long ago, in my homeland of Ulysio, I was beset by a creature from the Abyss. I would have perished then, were it not for the great knight Artorius. In truth, I saw little of what transpired, for mine senses were already fled, but even still, there was something about Artorius, a certain balance of the humours that quite perfectly fits your semblance. Heavens, could it be that? Oh, dear me, that was Ulysio, many centuries ago. Please excuse my fanciful musings.
She was captured by Manus. She claimed that she was saved by Artorius, because that's what Elizabeth told her when she got out. Elizabeth told her Artorius saved her, and there was no one else to deny it, and we definitely weren't there. She erased us from history. She erased us as the true victor over the Abyss. But she still suspects that Artorius was very similar to us. That's because it was. Right. I'm going to speak with her again. Let's talk to her again.
Excuse me for such whimsical utterances. Only, it was so very odd. You and Artorius. I owe my life to each of you, and both seem to share some resonance of sorts. Perhaps it is the nature of true greatness.
Yeah, she really does suspect that Elizabeth might not be telling the truth, and that we are very similar to Artorius. In a way, Artorius and the Chosen Undead, or Dark Lord, they both care about the world to an extent, and they want to save it. It's the nature of true greatness. There was no greater knight in Gwyn's company than Artorius the Abyss Walker, and there was no greater human than the one you see standing before you. I'd like to talk to her one more time. Can you tell us something about the primeval human, Dusk? Tell me something.
I still think on that creature from the abyss that preyed upon me. My faculties were far from lucid, but I quite clearly sensed certain emotions. A wrenching nostalgia, a lost joy, an object of obsession, and a sincere hope to reclaim it. Could these thoughts belong to the beast from the abyss? But if that were true, then perhaps it is no beast after all. Oh, please forgive my ramblings. It's just that I wish to know the truth, and no one, not even loving Elizabeth, will tell me.
To this day, Dusk thinks about Manus, the primeval human that kidnapped her. She sensed some emotions while she was unconscious. A wrenching nostalgia. Nostalgia towards maybe the pendant. A lost joy. His true children are dead, and his real children and his future and his distant descendants tried to... No, they did torture him. And an object of obsession, and a sincere hope to reclaim it. That would be the broken pendant. But if that were true, perhaps he's no beast after all. He was just corrupted by his own... He was corrupted by his own children. And Elizabeth would never tell her the truth. You know what? Dusk never, not even once, mentions the fact that Manus was a primeval human. She calls him a creature from the abyss, or a beast of the abyss. She never said primeval human. Elizabeth did. Elizabeth lied to her. Because Elizabeth didn't want Dusk to know that the reason Lucille fell to ruin is because some human from long, long ago wanted to take her. That's really something. She really does want to know, why did Lucille fall? Well, it had it coming. Goodbye, Dusk. I wish you luck in your future endeavors. You're kinda stuck here in the future, so make yourself comfortable.
If thou art in need, pray summon me again. I wish to be of assistance. May the flames guide thee.
You know what? I don't think I will. I won't summon you again. Goodbye, Dusk of Lucille.
Oh, help me, my rescue.
So ends Lucille. Now we share this lakeside view alone. We don't share with anyone. Now, from here, I would like to talk about the future of Oolacile. If the first human kingdom would fall to ruin, how could any other kingdom form? Well, first, during the time that Oolacile was established, there were humans that spread from there. They went to New Londo, they founded New Londo. They founded the other realms of men. They founded Astora, Katarina, Karim, Thorland, and the like. The Great Swamp came later. Vinheim. Vinheim was around this time. What about everyone else? Well, you see this basin? What are the odds that this Darkroot Basin has a watchtower that leads directly to the Undead Burg? Remember, Ulusil fell when the Undead Curse didn't exist yet. Anyone who survived would go this way from the Darkroot Basin, since Kalameet was dead, and would found the Burg. They'd found the Burg, which would later become Undead Burg for what bad things happened to it. They would found the Undead Burg, build an Undead Parish, and an Undead Church. Then a Bell of Awakening would be set there, with Bell Gargoyles protecting it. They're not human things, they were sent by Gwyn, after Gwyn caught wind of this Undead Burg. They would also start building the catacombs, because that's who they buried. While the Undead Curse didn't exist, they still had dead, and they buried them in the catacombs. They also had to share that tomb with Anor Londo, though, so, that's something interesting I wanted to talk about. And one more thing before we go. I mentioned a long time ago that Artorias' Abyss Greatsword was tainted by the Abyss. How could it be so? It literally had divine powers on it. It couldn't be tainted, especially since he faced the Dark Wraiths of New Londo before. Well, I have a little story for you. When Artorias and Sif went to Ulusil to stop Manos from wreaking havoc on the world, before Artorias would leave Sif to fight Manos, Sif and Artorias would switch swords. The sword that Artorias came to Ulusil with was the Greatsword of Artorias, the Wolf Knight Greatsword. What Sif had was simply a replica. Didn't have any divine power at all. Just a lookalike. They switched swords. Sif took the Wolf Knight Greatsword, and Artorias would take the replica with him, and that would get tainted. Sif would then, with Kiran, go to where the grave of Artorias would be founded. Sif would absorb Artorias' soul. That is what managed to make him so large. He was not a puppy. That Sif was not a puppy. The reason he managed to become so huge is because he absorbed Artorias' soul. Remember, this is not uncommon in the realm of the gods. Ornstein and Smo would do it to each other in the boss battle. Smo would crush Ornstein's body and absorb his soul to get his electric powers. And Ornstein would place his hand on Smo to absorb his soul and become gigantic. Doesn't sound so far-fetched. Now that these two stories of the future of humans and Artorias' sword are done, I'd like to return to the Ulusil Sanctuary. I'll see you there. Here we are, back at the Ulusil Sanctuary. Bet you're wondering why we're here. If you kill Dusk of Ulusil, Elizabeth will just disappear. She will quite literally cease to exist. You wondered why Dusk and Elizabeth had the same inventory and how they were completely linked to each other. Not just because of a gameplay purpose, but also because their souls were linked to each other. A little bit of Dusk's humanity was given to Elizabeth, along with golden sorcery, to create a sentient living mushroom. And when Dusk dies, Elizabeth dies too. That's what she gets for lying about us. Don't forget, she was brainwashed by Gwyn too. Both of them were. And with that, I think we're done. We're done with Artorias of the Abyss. Next time on Dark Souls, I have a special video to make. A special performance. Just for you. I'll see you then.